Hi guys, this is jasonrom.com and I'm here with a gaming phone, the brand new Nubia Red Magic 7S Pro, which is basically a rival for the Asus ROG Phone 6. Okay, so what we got here is a special device because it has a transparent backside and also a fan, a 20,000 RPM fan with RGB lighting. So here we go, that's the version we have here. The jury is still out on whether or not these are actual stickers behind the transparent glass or maybe actual components. One thing is for sure, this is definitely the 20,000 RPM fan. Okay, so I have to say that Nubia has improved the grip a lot here. This feels like a giant candy, a giant jawbreaker, and it combines the curves and the flat area in such a way that the device sits perfectly in my hand, even in portrait mode, which is something quite rare for a gaming phone. Usually they sit well in the hand in landscape. Okay, so let's turn down the brightness a little bit, and then we can talk about the innards of the box. It's an unboxing after all. Just so you know, in Europe the price starts at around 779 euros, and just a few days ago the device was made available for ordering on the website redmagic.gg. You can find more details in the description of this video if you're curious. So, gaming phones, right? Okay, so in the box we have here the key used to access the slots, dual nano SIM card slots, and here we find the case, which leaves the central part open here with this one which says Red Magic with this logo here, and at the same time leaves a lot of other cutouts. It's transparent and flexible. We also have the warranty here, and in the box we find the cable which goes from USB-C to USB-C and the charger. This one, from what I know, is a 65-watt charger with an USB-C connector, almost said USB-A. Okay, that's about it. Nothing out of the ordinary. Now let's focus on the device. First thing I notice here is that you can control the game fan with this widget. You can actually see it here spinning around and having that 4-color light up. You can actually hear it. So I'm going to put it closer to my microphone. I know it's a bit noisy, but that happens when it's in high profile mode and is doing a lot of cooling. So 20,000 RPM, which is actually pretty impressive. I have an urge to scratch this, but I probably shouldn't as I try to figure out what the device is all about. You can see here the inscription Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, the brand new CPU, which brings a performance bump of 10% from the predecessor. Now the phone has multiple colors: Obsidian, Supernova, Mercury and Yellow. This one I have here, well, let's see which one is it according to the box. Let's actually see. So this is supposed to be the device called Supernova. That's the name, just so you know. One thing I noticed from the get-go, the lack of a cutout punch hole or orifice for the selfie camera. It's hidden under the screen this time. It's the first gaming phone I'm seeing with this approach. Now, aside from that, obviously this is glass at the back. We have a metal frame and glass at the front side with very symmetrical and narrow bezels, maybe except for the chin here. It measures 10 millimeters in thickness and it weighs 235 grams, which is not bad for a gaming phone, provided that you know the iPhone 13 Pro Max weighs more, 5 grams more. At its mid-core, at its mid-frame, it has aviation aluminum, and also it has quite comfy buttons here on the side and a single intake for the air here, not two like the predecessors. We also have a dedicated gaming button here. Now the display you're seeing right here and the one I'm playing with, it's an AMOLED 6.8 inch. Resolution is Full HD Plus, and I'm surprised to see only 120 Hz refresh rate here after seeing a few Nubia Red Magic phones go up to 165 Hz. It's a step back. Gorilla Glass 5 protection is also here, while the processor we have available in this current case, this one is a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which also brings 30% improvement in power management. And we're also getting the treatment from TSMC. It's made by TSMC, no longer Samsung as the predecessor was. And let's also see what other specs we have available here. We go in this app, you can see the CPU Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, and we have 18 gigs of RAM, which is pretty impressive, LPDDR5, 512 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1, and the battery is a 5000 mAh, which charges at 65 watts. The Chinese version of the phone charges at 135 watts. We have stereo speakers. Now, I'm guessing that this slit is for the bottom one and this slit is for the top one. Even an audio jack made it and a microphone next to it. Here we have the USB-C port next to a microphone and the SIM tray. Be advised, we have 5G connectivity here as well as Bluetooth 5.2. There's also GPS on the device, of course, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo, NFC, and the port at the bottom was an USB-C 3.0. Dual nano SIM card slots, and the camera hidden below the screen is present here. There's a small rectangle, you can see my finger rotating around it. It's very hard to see except on, I would say, whiter background. Not sure if you can see it. It's one of the better hidden ones. It's here at the top and it uses a 16 megapixel sensor. If you go to the back side, things are a bit more interesting but rather predictable. This is a combo of 64 megapixel for the main camera, 8 megapixel ultrawide and 2 megapixel macro. LED flash, and for some reason 8K capture is still part of the package, plus the usual Nubia treatment, which involves a rather large amount of options. Electronic aperture, slow motion, ID, photo, 3D, and so forth. We have a pro mode, we have a photo mode, this time with ultrawide available as well. We have a video section with an extra stabilization feature, anti-shake they call it, night, and portrait. I would say that's about it camera wise. Now we can properly have fun with some of the features related to gaming. You can also dig into the settings, have dual cards, notification and status bar. There's an always on display option, lock screen, launcher and theme can be customized from here. There's something called Neo AI, features related to gaming and more. Neo Speed as well, which learns from your habits intelligently. There are cooling fan options, auto mode and fast cooling, digital well-being, and so much more. But the core idea of the gaming experience is pulling this button and enjoying the Red Magic console area. You can see here the games I have installed: Genshin Impact, Legends, also some benchmarks and some games. Each of them can have their own profile. Here you can see the plugin library, and we also have a special area for the accessories: Red Magic Turbo Cooler, Red Magic Dual Core Cooler, the Ice Dock, and so forth. Okay, now as I said before, you can also have settings for the games, quite a few. For Asphalt 9 here, you can adjust the screen touch, you can adjust the performance, GPU, you can also show some effects, apply voice effects, function allocation, and don't forget that we also have these triggers here. One button is here and the other is here. These are trigger buttons used in games. Okay, so when you start a game, like this one here, the fan will automatically activate, and I also will be able to trigger this special area, which includes a lot of features, plugins, options, frame rate, fan, touch accuracy, enjoy, super snap, capture options, and so much more. This is the trigger area. You can customize the shoulder buttons. You can set it up however you want. In this case, I will most likely use one for nitro and one for, you know it, drifting. Okay, so there's many more things to discover here, and in the end you're back to the interface. You can also see a nifty feature here. We can use the fingerprint scanner to measure your heart rate, and aside from that, well, we also have something like 500 Hertz for this touch response of these buttons here, and something like 400 or even 960 Hertz for the touch screen, which is the touch sampling rate, and it's quite impressive if you ask me. There's more to discover here. I'm not very sure which other options we have for the lighting. On paper we should have more lighting here, but I should discover it as I'm exploring the phone for a full review. The cool thing is that you can actually see some of its features here, and I almost forgot about the ICE 10.0 cooling system. Basically, it involves a combo here of all sorts of vapor chambers, graphite and other cooling mechanisms to keep it cool when you're gaming in hardcore titles like these ones I have here: Genshin, Apex Legends and Diablo Immortal. Okay, so that's about it. The comfiest gaming phone I've held in portrait for a while. An impressive way of hiding the selfie camera. This time, unlike other phones, you cannot see it even at certain angles, and I look forward to seeing how it performs with the fan on in benchmarks and games. That's it from us. This has been the unboxing of the Nubia Red Magic 7S Pro. Looking forward to playing more and more games on it. Goodbye.